when don't we fight the Nazis? I mean, people seem to get this view and opinion that just because you don't agree with me means you're part of this group. No, fuck that shit. By the way,
Isn't that the
greetings
same
and
logic
salutations,
they
everyone.
use?
Well, oh, there are so many ways that this could go. There are so many different things that this could actually lead into, and yeah, there's been some stuff and things that have gone on that we are going to talk about, and we're going to dive into one that, oh, Nikki, the oh, Nikki gave a suggestion for a topic that Nikki presented it, and my immediate response was, and I know just how to introduce that one. So let me start off right now with this bit of advice to everyone out there. If you are going to use a term, if you are going to make a claim that uses a particular set of terminology, do yourself and everyone that you hope to interact with a tremendous fucking favor by actually knowing what it is you're talking about. Get the terminology right. Get the definition of what is actually being talked about right, because you have people throwing things out there that doesn't actually fucking fit the definition of what they're trying to claim. That's a you problem, sugar cakes. You should work on that.
So you're complaining about Twitter now?
Oh, Twitter is just one of the places that it happens. It just happens to be the most prevalent one lately, so...
In other words, go and do your fucking homework instead of dropping out of school like the degenerates you are.
And
where doesn't it happen? That's really all I gotta say.
well, yeah. Well, and not
That's
just that. There's another suggestion that I have. If you are going to rant and rave and rail against people errantly and incorrectly projecting the term fraud against you, don't turn around and a number of months later then put yourself in a position where you could actually legitimately be committing fraud yourself.
Oh no.
Yeah, not a good look. Not a good look at all.
But my fraud is not as bad as their fraud.
This doesn't have to do with Kilo Romeo, does it? You know, Kyle?
Oh, no. Well, not
No,
directly.
Oh.
Well, wait. Kyle Romeo. I thought you were going with Kilo Charlie. Sorry.
No.
Different Kyle.
Yeah, no. The Kyle that we actually kind of like.
I have respect for it. I wouldn't say like necessarily.
Say kinda.
Yeah, because I will say that meme that he released of himself recently, that was a good move. I like it. Being able to have that sense of humor about yourself, that's a good move. That's a good look. But more specifically, the one thing that Nikki brought up, what is the definition of a war crime?
Oh no.
Yeah. Because apparently, some people need to learn what the fuck they're talking about and how to evaluate shit. Because if the reports are to be believed, there have actually been some of those going on.
Like killing reporters.
I have to respond to Terry really quick. It's only okay if you declare it to the IRS if you are a 401c3 nonprofit.
And even then, it's sketch as hell.
I don't know. The church has been getting away with it for a while.
Or you're a police officer.
Well, churches
No.
have been getting
The
away
police
with
officer
it.
does have some other issues.
But yeah. Would anyone like to venture... Actually, Leon.
Hmm?
Since you have not been in the position of active duty military, I think this is a good question for you to address first. From your understanding, what do you think would actually fit the definition of a war crime?
Something that goes against the civilian populace of the country without any kind of actual need for it, as in directly targeting the civilian populace. Something where it's a something that goes against what is it? The fucking Geneva Convention when it comes to, say, for example, chemical warfare, biological warfare, etc., etc. Essentially, shit that's so heinous that at that it's not just about trying to get rid of the military. It's not really about just attempting to fight the war. It's about attempting to inflict more pain than is necessary overall on the country and the populace.
Actually, not far off. It what it essentially boils down to is targeting of non-combatants beyond reasonable collateral damage, and the use of weaponry and means of inflicting harm that are deemed excessive, which is where the whole flamethrowers come in. That is deemed excessive.
Is it really though?
Also, that one clip of a tracked vehicle running over a moving civilian, personally owned vehicle.
Oh, they survived.
Yes, but
Yeah.
that's still unwarranted.
Well, so that situation in particular, actually, this is where you have to be careful about evaluating a lot of these sources and a lot of these instances that are being put out there. Because as a combatant, you are supposed to be easily identified as such when you get involved in the firefight. That's why we have uniforms. That's why our if you look at the uniforms when they deploy of the Marine Corps and the Army, you will find a U.S. flag patch somewhere on their uniform that is visible. You are supposed to identify yourself and the nation of whose military you are a member of.
And
So
by that extension, you're also supposed to identify who is not a combatant, hence why we have patches for Red Cross or press. Those are
and the
things
Red
that
Crescent and other things, yeah.
and those are things that you're not supposed to shoot at. Keyword not. But, Russians are probably doing that anyways.
Well,
Well, all right. So now this topic is starting to go off. This is the reason why I brought this topic up because I'm getting.
oh, so we have a wonderful Google issue. Let's log in. Yeah. Get rid of that. Join again.
But those
There
are
we
all
go.
in the past at this point.
Hold on. At some point, even maybe up to modern times, but I'm saying I'm using this as I'm going to give you this little bit of a win. Do you want to go down the road? And this is what I tell them. Do you want to go down the road every single time in the past of when other countries that a lot of you people love committed war crimes? Because we can start with one big one. Well, small country, but it's committed some big war crimes.
Was it this?
Japan.
I'll be honest though, is like when anybody brings up like that, I automatically go one place, and I'm just gonna put it this way: is like the well, he was doing it was stopped working after like 5 years old. So if you're
Yeah,
older than five, that doesn't work.
That's why my immediate reaction when they said, "Well, what other countries?" Japan. That's all I gotta say. And they're like, "Well, what do you mean?" Go look in history and find out what the Japanese did to the Chinese during World War II.
And the
Nanking.
Koreans.
I was just going with just with just what Japan did to China. I wasn't even going to touch on all the other aspects of it.
Well, and that's the thing is when you look at it and you start digging through, you'll see just how pervasive it is. So that's where you do. It is really telling how well someone is actually equipped to have the discussion by just knowledge of what actually happened during the big known uh, instances of warfare after the Geneva Conventions were initially drafted and agreed to and then ignored and then agreed to again and then ignored. We're starting to see a pattern here.
It's almost as if it
one of the
doesn't
other
work.
ones. One of the other ones that got brought up was, well, the United States dropped nukes on Japan. First off, different time, different era. Collateral damage was always a thing back then.
Yeah,
Well, not just that. Japan wasn't outright warned that we were going to use atomic weapons on them, but they were warned that, hey, you're in a losing position here. You might want to give up or something worse is about to happen.
We dropped leaflets saying, hey, your city's going to be incinerated in a couple days.
Even then, our bombing of Tokyo killed more people than both atomic bomb attacks.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's
But-
part.
Well, we
But
firebombed Tokyo. What do you expect?
That was the problem, and that's it. Is like even the U.S. in those instances have done things that do cross the line, and other instances that blur the line. Because here's the thing: when you think about going on a firebombing campaign of a U.S. city, yeah, you're going to cause damage. Yeah, it is going to inflict a sizable amount of casualties. But then think of Japan at the time. They were still in
Paper and wood
some,
houses?
some of the buildings that are there in Tokyo that actually survived are still paper wall and windowed buildings. They were fucking tinder boxes. So it really didn't take much to start quite the fire in that part of the world. But people want to ignore these things because, hey, it's convenient for my narrative. But
I
when
feel
it comes,
like one. I go.
well, a lot of it does come down to you do have to keep things in their context, in their time frame, and also in the situation provided, because oftentimes the warring party, the nation that wins, may not a good portion of the time did not start out as the most violent aggressor, but they ended up moving towards those more violent means because they had to, because you do at some point need to match the intensity or even surpass the intensity of the enemy you are going against, even if you are the one that was on the receiving end of the initial salvo.
i.e., United States after December 7th, 1941.
For one comparison, yes. And
Yes.
and Thierry, those types of houses are mostly outside of your actual major city areas. Most of your metropolitan areas now, it's metal and masonry
Yeah,
for
so
most of the construction now, especially newer buildings.
yeah,
But
so
but if you
not
find a
so.
residential area like in the southeast, those things will catch fire on their own because they paid the cheapest electrician to do the wiring.
Hey, my buddy Earl said he could do it for 3 beers and a can of chew.
Oh, no. The specific reference material there. Friend of mine was taking a look at buying a house in actually the area of the southeast that I just spent the last week in, and was going through a development company who owned, who bought the land, built the house, and is selling the house.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And
no.
my friend was like, "Oh, I know it's a new build, but I still want my own independent home inspector to come take a look." And found no less than 24 electrical issues alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then come to find out, the same company, within 6 months of someone buying some of their homes and moving in, there had been multiple house fires that were, schley shock, electrical fires.
Hmm.
Surprise.
None to be had here.
So, lot of fun stuff there. But then again, sometimes that's what you get for going with the lowest bidder, and that's also why it's funny the differing opinion and reactions when you see the term military grade.
Yeah, lowest bidder absolutely sucks. I
Well, here's
think
the
most
thing.
of us here can attest to that.
Heh.
I think
It's
I
hit or
can't
miss.
speak about military. I can't speak about Navy, but I can certainly speak for Army.
No. Well, the procurement process is actually very much the same, and this is where it's hit or miss because there are some parts of military grade that are actually beneficial and worth the additional price that gets put to them, mainly in the material sense. The actual materials used have to be of a certain performance standard. However, the build quality beyond that is where it gets to be questionable because that's where the value of the bidder comes in. And when you're going to the lowest bidder trying to do the highest volume, yeah, they might have the highest quality metal to make said thing, but they're going to be cutting corners to make it profitable for them other areas, so be
I still
careful.
I still chuckle when I have people like, well, it's the military. They have access to higher powered computers in the private sector.
Lies. Lies.
Oh my god! All
I
right, so hold on. I'm gonna deflate that bullshit right here and now. So when I was on my boat, yes, we had modern equipment in there. Right out, you go if you needed a replacement part for like a processor, you go right down to fucking Best Buy and buy it. That's not the issue. I had 3 computers in my room, a PlayStation 3, a Vita, and a cell phone. Combined, the computer power was more powerful than that entire computer system
Why did you have 3 computers in your room?
because I like computers.
build one, set it up for. Well, keep in mind this is also back when your average E3 and below couldn't afford a large enough hard drive to properly do a partition for multiple OSs.
Mine was more for multiple EVE Online clients.
Oh yeah, you
So
had
you
that
were
too.
doing
I was
farming.
I was running 4 EVE Online accounts, and because the graphics cards in all 2 of the computers weren't up to snuff, well, they were, but not for multiple accounts.
Oh,
Yeah, I had to use multiple computers.
ML2 is hitting it on the head there. Some people have no idea how outdated military computers can get. I will keep referring to this right here. So when I was in Jacksonville, Florida, we were the primary training base and home base for a little over half of the Eastern Seaboard combined fleet of P3 patrol aircraft. There was one radio system in all of those birds that I supported in the shop that I was the lead technician for. And when you look through the publication for that, the last update to the publication to support said radio system was in 1975.
Jesus fuck!
Now here's the kicker. That update in 1975 was not a technical update. It was a grammatical update.
No.
They fixed a fucking punctuation in the book. The last technical update was in 1972.
No.
But they didn't.
If you give me a moment, I'm gonna show you what we I'm trying to find it, but I'm gonna show you what we calculated SVPs on. So
Oh God, no!
Oh,
No.
Mag drives. That's all I have to say. Mag
All
drive.
right, all right, put it this way. Okay. Here's another one. Modern ships, a good chunk of them anyway, at least the more modernized ones that came out in the last 10 years, have a actual like navigation plot that's actually digital and slightly touchscreen. At least that's what I was told. Um, in 2010 to 2012, we were still using charts.
Oh God.
oh, oh.
That's
Here's
why.
another.
That's why you
Agent
will hear
Failed
me.
charts?
That's why you will hear me when something's like, yeah, awesome, cool. I go check with charts because that's fucking hilarious.
Well, it's because the French never used them either. They just never mind.
Oh, but Thierry actually brings out a good one that I did not hear about, but it doesn't surprise me. Have you heard about the Bundeswehr spending some of their new money to buy handmade analog radios from France because no one builds that shit anymore? And I can kind of see why. Because an analog radio is very simple to maintain because it's very simple to operate and actually utilize. But here's the problem. An analog radio signal is very easy to intercept and decrypt if it is a purely analog radio. And this is where the digital revolution and the integration of digital signal processing really helped with information security for the actual wireless transmissions. I can talk about the technology. I cannot go further than this, though. There are radio systems in use by not just the U.S. military, but NATO forces that actually, in the coding, in the security coding, to prevent signal interception and the compromising of the data signal, there is a scheduled frequency hopping that they get synced up to based off of this code that you put into the radio. So you might get a millisecond on one carrier frequency that you hop around. It will continually go back to that carrier frequency to mitigate channel crosstalk, but it frequency hops faster than any human can process and follow. So there are some advantages to the digital communication.
Yes.
Okay, now you're ready to see one of these things, and before I show this to you,
I found a meme though. Let's talk about this meme.
I want to make sure everybody here realizes that I'm talking about the mid '90s.
Oh boy.
Oh God.
Here we go.
Oh,
Ah!
hey, I've used one of those.
Damn. Oregon Trail.
Too.
This is the closest I ever came to enjoying a Mac.
That's an HP.
Nice.
I know.
We calculated SVPs on that thing. In the mid '90s.
No. It's also like when you're trying to order aircraft parts from the inventory, you had to use the CAM system on a terminal like this.
And that had more computational power than the mainframe that drove our combat control system.
Oh, jeez.
Like, that probably wasn't by much.
This is why you were called a dot stacker, okay?
And
Needed
he
the humor.
enjoys it. Yeah, the longer this whole thing in Ukraine goes on, the more I find myself having to be mindful about some of the systems that I talk about because
Yeah.
you gotta for
Unless it's declassified, you have to be very careful.
and even then some of the things, some of the aspects are never declassified even though the system in general may be. So that's where I can talk about the basics of how that security feature functioned, but very basic. I can't go into the frequencies used. I can't go into the deviations used. I can't go into the details because things like that will never be uh, unclassified or
Probably because
declassified.
we're going to be using those systems and those other variables well into the future.
Well, it's not just that. So think about, I was specifically talking about a radio system, a combination of voice traffic and data link. So you're operating in very specific, very defined segments of the EM spectrum. So you already know the frequencies that the carrier could possibly be on. And then if more was to be slipped out about your average deviation around the primary carrier that it's going to be hopping between, you can then narrow down even more to where if enough information is given, someone who has the technical know-how can then narrow in, and then it's just a matter of finding and figuring out the algorithms and then lucking out into the syncing of it, and then that system is broken. So that's why I only talked about very minimal bits of it. Just like there are other systems that I will mention that they exist, and that's all that I will mention because what they do can be bad juju if people found out and found a way to actually get into the system.
Someone is selling that piece of junk for $2.5 grand.
Wait. We gotta pin this one. Beak. Ah, the damn.
That was our
quality through
OTH.
Google.
We use those for OTH computers.
Okay, so the text is coming through worse than a dot matrix printer. What is that?
Yuck 44.
Oh, the Yuck 40. Okay.
Yeah. There's another yuck that's even worse.
Yuck 7.
Not gonna say it.
You know, it looked like it was from Star. It looked like it was from Star Trek, like the original series.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I think
The Yuck 43 was the Yuck 40. Yuck 43 was kind of clean, but
it was, but dear God,
Wait, was that a SYK?
UYK.
UYK? Okay. Because the okay, yeah, U for the under. So I know what that system basically does because there's a AYK airborne version of it that is actually used in the F-18s. All of them. They all use the same mission. Well, at least as of 2008, even the Super Hornet was using the same mission computer as the Legacy Hornets.
Hey, Jared. Sean's trying to remind you got to do your plug for Nord.
Not until the check clears. When their check clears, then I'll do it. Hey, there's the Yuck 7. But yeah, so the... So
hope you like binary encoded or binary encoded octal.
Oh, God.
Nice. Well,
Good thing I went Army.
You know what? I'm gonna look to see if this system was even. How is it known? AYK.
Those were starting to go away in some of the older systems when I was still in. In other words, they were still in use.
Yep. So the the airborne equivalent of the Yuck 44 is the AYK-14, which is one of the systems that I worked on. Developed in 1976, is still in use on Navy fleet aircraft, including the FA-18 and the Harrier.
All right, I'm gonna admit this now. My boat had a Yuck 43.
Well, you had the post COTS Yuck 43, didn't you? Oh, right.
No, you did not.
Mine was as old as my boat.
Okay, so we had the original one.
Yeah.
That was the one I worked on. So
Yeah, but mine was as old as my boat. It was one of the few pieces of original hardware still on the boat.
well, actually, technically, it wouldn't have been original.
Yeah.
Because technically, your boat originally would have had one of these.
Holy shit.
I'm not gonna lie, that forward compartment right directly in front of sonar. Yeah, most of that sonar's equipment. No, there's some small little section that's fire control too. I know. We're not gonna talk about that because we never had to use it, thankfully.
So yours had shrunk down because, most of it was sonar when I was in, but fire control was like a third of the CSES space. But we had like 2 massive hard drive units that were refrigerator sized.
Ours got moved to our stations. So you pull down the big panels, the hard drive banks would be back behind there.
Oh no! You don't understand.
I
this
understand.
Was 4 hard drives. Each 2 of them were refrigerator sized.
Yeah, I understand that. There's difference between.
It's safe for me to share this, Jared.
Mine's in the 2010s.
This is public information at this point.
Okay.
So there was actually an example donated to a museum that I actually was unaware of. So we have the Rhode Island Computer Museum that actually had donated to them an AYK-14. This is the airborne mission computer, which actually was essentially an upgrade of the Yuck 20, and the current version is standard across with the other mission computers.
But I don't see a touchscreen. Where does the app download from?
Oh, the touchscreen interface for it is in the cockpit.
Of course.
You know how we interface with ours?
Punch cards?
A 300 baud teletype.
I wasn't far off.
Ouch.
Oh, teletype. You could have so much fun with that, but oh god damn, was it labor intensive.
And it was very annoying if the chief was around, because I've told you the stories. Our chief was not really originally a fire control tech.
Yeah, the rating merger where it's like, yeah.
He was a data systems tech, didn't know anything, and every time it was worse. He would always do this. Like, this is repeated, so it's not like he did this once. And okay, but like, we'd have to cold boot the fire control system and reset up the date stuff. There was a bug in the Busy One system. It would not take dates and times with 5s or 7s in them.
Well, this is not.
So, to enter a date and time, it would not take if it had a 5 or a 7 in it. So you would have to enter some other date. Like if it was the 16th, you'd have to enter it, or the 15th, you'd have to enter it as the 14th or the 16th, and either back it up or push it up a day with a separate command. And every time we'd be doing this and he was in there watching us, he would always ask, "Why are you doing that?"
Wow. I could understand.
Well, all the fire control tech Yeah, all the fire control techs know that there's a bug in the system. That's why you have to do it. It's well publicized. That's what I wanted to say. So you're
Yeah.
not a fire control tech. You just woke up one day with the rating.
Yeah, it was someone in Millington. Humana, now you're this rate.
Yeah, they did it because when they merged data systems techs with fire control techs and submarine forces, basically they said, okay, if you're E5 below, we're going to send you back to A school and retrain you as an FT. If you're an E6 and above, you're just going to wake up the next day as an FT.
You know, that kind of makes sense, though. Especially E7 and above, because how hands-on are E7s?
Thing is, there's so few fire control techs that E7s are going to be kind of more like they're administrative, but they're going to be like directly involved in a lot of the process. So it's not like
They still should know.
yeah. It's not like they're, you're talking about an FT division. A big FT division is 7 people. You know?
Okay, okay. I'm gonna share my screen real quick so I can show. I can make.
That's counting the chief.
I can make this person fairly jealous compared to what I had,
Go
or
for
what
it.
I have compared to what he had.
Ooh.
That's what my fire control system looked like.
Yeah, actually, I got to mess with those consoles.
The big one.
They had them in some of the trainers when I was in C school. Because those consoles were used on the Busy or not the Busy, but the CCS Mark II system as well.
Yeah. Well, ours was 02. It was the stage up from this one, but it's the same concept. It's just it was so much nicer than what I was trained on.
Track balls and color screens was great. It was a nice little treat in C school to get those on some of the trainers. So.
Oh.
Well, I was gonna say I just find it funny that when I went to A school, I learned on the SINS system. Guess what ship I got?
One that was not applicable for it.
Exactly. I got the and not even the newest version of the ESGN platform, but the hybrid bastardization version.
That's great because you got trained on the newer one, right?
No, I got trained on the old one.
Okay, you got the same. You got the same treatment I did because here's what I did. They said, "Oh no, this is actually the latest one that the most of the fleets have, or most of the ships in the fleet have." I got to my boat. No, we've upgraded 2 stages up from the one you got trained in A school on. It's like, oh, this is different. I was expecting to stack dots. It's like, oh, we don't do that anymore.
Oh. So, you know how I've made mention that my rate, there was a change where some NECs, some work centers were more properly suited for hands-on troubleshooting. This is why. Jay, go ahead and bring up that link I sent you. Again, this is publicly available information. This is the CAS system, the Consolidated Automated Support System. This is what replaced 90% of the troubleshooting that the intermediate level of aviation electronics technician specialties actually perform. The ComNav branch, the 610 branch of work centers, are the last branch that do not use this, but instead actually use individual test sets for each system to troubleshoot directly, oftentimes going down to component level tracing on a number of the systems. So yeah, quite literally that system, you would grab the correct adapters, put them in, grab the right cables, hook up your test equipment, power on, go to the run through the auto detect, and then hit run test and sit down and start reading a book.
Oh, God.
Because the
What's
military
the fun in
needs
that?
the military needs to overly complicate shit, even though they say it's going to make your life easier.
Yeah,
It's gonna make your life easier for us to fuck up.
so because of the CAS system, this is where it gets fun. So they call it EO and RF configuration there. No. It's CAS and CAS high power. The RF is your high power because you're actually testing the high power radiation from some certain boxes, including radar systems. Here's the thing though, because of the implementation of that system, every aviation intermediate support command has a team of E6 and below that are CAS techs. They are technicians for the CAS system, except they are just that, technicians for the system itself, not for the gear being run on it.
Boo.
Because the system has that much reliability that there's that much of a maintenance need on the test bench itself, that it's not the people who run the gear on the test set that do the maintenance. It is a dedicated team that maintains the equipment themselves.
Check out what I just dumped in image dump.
I was gonna say, Nikki, though, for us to get get some familiarity with other systems was actually beneficial. When I was in FT advancement exams, every advancement exam you would get an exam that would kind of randomly focus on a particular fire control system. So there's a chance as an FT for you to go into an advancement exam and be tested on paper on equipment you've never seen.
Oh yeah. Oh, trust me, I know.
Oh,
Please tell me that's not a real fucking poster.
I can see someone out there doing that. But Tech, that is not uncommon. That's actually was common in my rate too. A good 3/4 to almost 80-90% of the time, the in-rate portion, the system specific segment of the in-rate portion of the rating exams for my rate were generally systems in my shop. And there was one cycle where one of the guys that was working for me in Japan got really excited because when the bibliography was released, he took a look at it, and it was his system that he specialized in that was going to be on the in-rate portion, TACAN. But he hated how popular he got because a lot of people from the other shops, when they saw that, started coming to him to be like, what do I need to know about this? Like, how does this actually work? And at one point, I actually had to set up dedicated visitation hours for tutoring because people were coming into the shop that often to ask questions.
Also, though, and I don't know if it changed or not. Jay might be able to answer this, given his rate. But when I was in too, I know it didn't happen to us. It was happening worse in other places. The ETs when I was in, there was no submarine specific ET advancement thing. They were generalized with the surface fleet. So most of the stuff was surface stuff.
For us, not really.
Yeah, they were talking about changing it, so you might have lucked out and been after that. But it used to be generalized.
It was very. It's very specific due to the fact that we were a combined rate. So there was a section on navigation for QM stuff, section on IC stuff, and a section on ET specific to the gyro navigation systems.
Yeah, we still had ICs and RM still existed. QMs were just going away and they were like our QM division was half actual QMs and a few, and then some like nav ETs.
Yeah.
But like just the regular, Connor ET rate. Factor in mind, their advancement exams were generalized to surface, so their advancement exams always had surface stuff on it, almost nothing submarine. So they had it worse than I did, really.
Oh god, that does suck for them.
I at least had the luck of the draw that I could draw an advancement exam that has most of the equipment from my system in it. But
Yeah, I was gonna say my advancement exams were all tailored to more of the quartermaster side of things for some reason, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, this, and this, not a problem.
So basically, they dumbed it down.
Yeah, they did, but at the same time, it's like the actual tech questions were not easy to answer. I mean, you still had to do the work to figure it out. But
Oh, what's
while I was in, we still had they still had Mark 113 was still in use, Busy 1, Busy 2, CCS Mark 1, CCS Mark 2, and Mark 118 were all in use in different parts of the fleet. So any one of those could be on the advancement.
Yeah.
About half of those were still in service when I was in. So
we had the SIN system still in use on some of the older West Coast Ohio class submarines. We had the ESGNs and ESGM when you had the SINs for the boomers. And then on the fast boats, I think most of them were either ESGN or starting the RLGNs, the ring laser gyros.
I don't know, we were
ESGN those are fun.
when we were in, but
yeah. And what's funny is a lot of the questions when dealing with navigation for specifically talking about like using the gyros were geared towards the fast boat sailors because obviously there's going to be more of them than there are us per se. But it's so funny because you're sitting there reading the question. It's like, how far along after a GPS fix do you need to go to periscope depth and get a GPS fix yada yada to offset the position of uncertainty circle? And a lot of the guys in my division that tested, they always got that question wrong. It's because it's like, well, we don't use it because we have 2 gyros working almost all the time, so we don't have to worry about it. But on the fast boats, they only have one at most of the time working, and the other one's meant as a backup in case.
15 degree per hour drift.
But yeah, it's funny when I sit there and thinking about it. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. You guys don't get the position of uncertainty circle fixed for several days at a time.
Trying to remember isn't it at most like in hours that they have to do, if even that?
Yeah, it's generally within at least once per watch, basically.
Yeah. But at the same time, like a fast attack, you popping up to periscope depth a couple of times a watch is, depending on your mission profile, is actually kind of encouraged.
Yeah.
Especially because they tend to be...
Depending, yeah.
Well, with the exceptions of certain mission profiles, you guys you're off of the main trade routes, but you're not far off of them. So getting a visual orientation to some contacts is good practice for the fast attacks.
Well, when we're in a patrol area, we tend to be by default, just hanging around at PD at 4 to 5 knots.
Yeah. Remember, it's the 3 knots to nowhere, okay?
It varies a little bit, it's kind of...
So this kind of explains it, but not really. The position of uncertainty after your fix is smaller, obviously, because you've got a good solid fix. And then over time, it expands. And then you should be able to expect where your position should be somewhere, roughly. And then you can also use, if you can't get to periscope depth, there are charts that can help you figure that out.
Yeah.
So we don't tend to like hang out deep like for long periods of time just for no reason, unless like we're on a specific mission.
Yeah. Were you about to have a phrasing moment there, Leon?
Oh, no. I had it all miss out. I mean, I'm not going to blame you if you don't want to go deep. But
Hey, we could go deep.
And longer. So this is my favorite, trying to explain to people how to do visual. And why 360? Why not? Okay, never mind. Don't
Should be
nitpick.
0. Should be 0.
I know. So, which one of these do you think I should be shooting first for a visual fix for the bearing?
A or B?
Anybody else?
you
So
mean
what
just
are we trying to do here?
You're trying to fix your ship's position by using the bearings for triangulation.
Okay.
So which one would you want to shoot first if you're heading in a northerly direction?
B?
Which way are you going for 360?
Well, you're moving in a line there.
You're moving
Yeah.
in a line.
Okay. I would probably shoot Alpha first, because that one's going to be coming up and it'll probably be useful for longer.
Leon is correct. It's B. Because it's going to go past you faster, so you need to get that one. And then from there, you pick whichever one is going to have the larger bearing rate change going forward, which would be Alpha in this case.
Okay.
And then swing all the way back down to Charlie.
Okay. So it's as close as you can get to 90 degrees off, and then forward, then backward.
Well, it's whichever one's going to have the higher.
You're basically fighting the time. You want
C's bearing rate slowing down. B is at the highest bearing rate. And A's bearing rate is speeding up.
Yeah, and not always is it like going through Puget Sound. Not always is your point going to be all on the same side.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want one over here, one back here, one off to the side, this side, and sometimes you might go over here, over here, over here, even though this one might be closer here. You know, just depends on what is going to be the easier ones to get in the higher bearing rate change. So,
Okay.
it's a little fun, useless bit of trivia for most people.
Well, but I could see that even still being relative, even surface navigation. It's a similar mantra, because you're fighting against time. That's why you want to go with the highest bearing rate change first, because hey, I'm trying to plot this known position. That reading is only going to be stable at that bearing for the least amount of time. Get that now. Then the next, then the next.
Different from me. The only bearing rate I'm concerned about is a 0 bearing rate.
But we are also concerned about that as well. Apparently, some aircraft carrier captains are not, though.
Hey, just because we ramped a Russian sub.
Oh no! I'm talking about arguing with lighthouses.
Oh,
who's gonna
God.
move?
That one.
That thing has been memed so much that I am sure it started as a true story at one point, but I've heard so many variations of the type of ship and nationality. It happened, but was it Navy? Well, was it U.S. Navy? Maybe?
At this point, who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
But considering all that stuff, you can bet that goes back like 3,000 years to Phoenicians. or even fucking Egyptians, even further back than that, and
What?
some variation on.
Angrily
Oh,
flagging
move,
to the fucking lighthouse.
I would say,
move, you idiots! We're on the beach.
I would say
Angrily
it
flagging
began.
to the fucking.
It began. The first version of that story started when the first ship-to-shore communications were possible.
The first angry flagging capability.
Just hey, move! No, you move! No, you move! No,
Well,
fuck
the-
you! You move!
I
you
can't.
move!
I'm
We
a
can't
rock.
move. We're a rock.
The poor signalman over there trying to figure out how to semaphore angrily.
You know,
I
It's
wonder
funny
if
'cause-
sarcasm is covered under it.
you know
Probably
what's-
not.
No,
I-
they,
I've
they just
also
switched
wondered-
they just switched the bigger flags to indicate cap locks.
When I was in THU,
Go get
after
me my
boot camp-
bigger flags. No, I
When
need
I
the
was-
bigger ones.
When I was in THU after boot camp, I was watching the signalmen and be like, "Those guys' job has to suck."
You know who the perfect people coming out of high school are for that rate, though? People who were in the flag corps instead of the cheerleaders.
Yeah,
Oh.
They're already used to dealing with it, so here's another pole to play with. Besides cheerleading.
God.
they got to play with multiple poles at the same time.
And then they get to go to class and learn how to play with other poles.
But just going back to military,
Soon they'll be going around the
military
world
technology
on a
being-
pole.
Nice. What was
Just
that,
going
Leon?
back to
Go ahead,
going
Leon.
back to military technology being a bit stagnant in some areas. Remember, they have to train people such as Tasty.
And
Yeah,
me.
our Young 43 was old, but I can tell you that, it might have only had about the equivalent of power of like an Intel 8080, but you could have unhooked that thing, drug it up to the top of a 15-story building and dropped it off the side, and then hooked it back
See?
up, and it would still have ran.
You're not wrong.
That's what you need for someone who, when he heard the klaxon, smacked his head up into the fucking bunker ball.
Oh, that night was hilarious.
Great memories.
And I don't know if he's watching now or is going to watch this later, but apparently Mr. Tasty there has gotten his chief onto Discord and in the server.
Oh no. That's not a good thing for him. This might end Tasty's career.
Oh, I
In
don't
some
think it'll be
respects.
like that, but it'll be...
No.
I'm still concerned for him though.
I'm gonna. This is gonna be very interesting.
He'll
I
be
have a
fine.
healthy amount of concern for Tasty's career right now.
Okay, so if he's making these kind of inroads already with his senior leadership, he's going to be fine. The question is he going to learn enough for when he's in a position of authority to not be a shithead with it?
There's the real question.
Well, and that's
Can
going to
you
be the
imagine-
true measure of what kind of mentorship he has. Because if he has good leadership that is actually doing what they're supposed to aboard that boat, he'll be fine.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. Them passing the torch properly.
Can you imagine Tasty as a leader, though?
In his current state, oh god.
Oh, he's not ready
Tasty.
for it right now.
No.
Especially when he falls out of his bunk when he's drunk.
Tasty addressing the new recruits in his programmer socks.
Okay, so here's the thing. Tasty actually does have the potential but he really needs to get a lot of the stupid shit out of his system now, which being E4 and below, that is the perfect time to get that shit out of your system, or at least get it out of your system in a way that you learn how you can get away with it.
Yeah.
Which, that's where having good leadership comes in, because good leadership is going to be right there with you getting into some stupid shit of their own. They're just going to be showing you how to avoid some of the ramifications of it at the same time.
Yes. Fail in an environment where you're allowed to fail.
Where you don't end up at captain's mast.
Yeah, and do it in a way that you can still learn from it.
You're just saying that he should become a fucking politician now.
No, it's
No. That would imply that he doesn't learn from his mistakes.
Oh, come on. If you're in the Navy, you got to go to Captain's Mast at least once.
I've been there
See,
twice.
you just got to get the experience.
Captain's Mast is not
You
that
haven't really
bad.
served if you haven't.
Well, no. So
At least once.
before I get to the super chat, I will say that there was a time period where it was an unwritten requirement for Chief to have had at least one NJP on your record, because it shows growth and progression. Nowadays, you get one NJP even early in your career. It might be a career ender no matter what it is.
Which
Because-
is, to a degree, bullshit.
It is, and that is, you know, we'll get into the philosophy of that in a second. So, from Davros for 5 Aussie dollars. But my fuel, we need the gasoline. By the way, Kundalini wants his hand back. I don't want to know where that came from. I really don't. Sometimes I want to know where you get the shit from, Davros. That's not one of them.
How far back is Davros?
Oh, I don't know. He comes in and says random shit when he pops in anyways. So it's not
He's so
always
strange.
germane to... Yeah, exactly. But
am I still stuck? Oh, I'm like
The-
stuck on chat.
so there's been an officer level mentality shift that is actually...
There we go.
That could actually present as being detrimental. So, during World War II, the regional commanders, so we're talking Eisenhower, Nimitz, they were not afraid to move, especially other flag officers, around and change their assignments based on what the mission actually called for. And they were not afraid to reprimand officers and move them out of a position as a punitive measure while not kicking them out completely. There
So just
was...
relieving them of that command.
Actually take them out of the position where they just screwed up, but put them in a position where they can still learn and still be an asset down the road. You don't have that right now. Currently in the U.S. military, you have the mentality of, oh, you screw up, you're one and done, and gone. Yeah, you don't have. Oftentimes, you don't have that prospect of learning. Now, I do understand in some situations they've kind of hemmed themselves in, because as the commanding officer of, say, a submarine, sorry, you screw up, a lot of people can die. So I can understand having a shorter leash in that environment.
It's mostly like it's mostly like the difference in needs. I mean, like we were like in long-term embroiled combat back then. You couldn't afford to leave to lose good leadership. So I mean, if they were in the wrong spot, you'd move them.
Yeah.
We're in a spot right now where we have more people than openings.
Yeah. We have more people than we have.
Wow.
So it becomes just easier to get rid of them and just put somebody else in their spot. So
But at the same time, you're actually having shortages in other aspects too. So like there is a destroyer
in
there is a
certain
DG
areas,
Yeah.
in certain areas you'll end up with shortages. But it's like but if you think about like if you talk about like wartime, like you can't afford shortages anywhere.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
so
and
like
you're like running like increased manpower as it is. So
yeah, so like right now you have the issue that happened with the Connecticut, the Seawolf class boat that ripped off its nose. And we expected senior leadership to be replaced. We just expected it to happen quicker. But then conversely, right now there is a Arleigh Burke class destroyer that was supposed to be on deployment right now, but it's not. And the
Why not?
What did
because
Tasty do now?
no, the
well,
the
that's
command
that's legal involved in that. But
yeah. Yeah, Tech knows which one I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
there is a commanding officer out there that has refused to get the vaccination under religious pretense, and yet, so the ship can't deploy until the crew is at 100% vaccination, including the commanding officer. And said commanding officer at one point had COVID.
So, wouldn't that invalidate his religious status? Because he
Tech,
got sick.
and this is
the
where the
problem,
legality comes in.
the problem is the military. Like, there's actually a court order in place that they can't discipline anybody for that reason.
Oh, because
So-
it's EO.
That's part
So
of
unless
it.
unless that court order goes away, which would mean it's under appeal stuff now, but unless that court order goes away, they can't, like, if they like remove him from it, any like that could perceived as a punitive thing, and they would technically then be in violation of the court order, type thing. So
Which would
Yeah.
then have them be, which would then be seen as, to an extent, racist.
well, not
Well-
racist, but it's just you're violating a court order. I don't know what more explanation you need past that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
not saying that besides the point of it being a violation of a court order.
Well, that really is the only thing that's holding it up, because the initial reason given of religious exemption still requires approval. That is the thing that a lot of people, even a number of people in the military, don't
Yeah.
realize, is that the vast majority of the rights that you have as a civilian de facto go bye-bye when you're on active duty at any rank,
Mhm.
at any level.
Yeah.
The only person, well, no, because even if you're on the Joint Chiefs, you still report to the president. So if an order from
Yeah.
the president comes down, you still you still have issues and responsibilities and a check and balance there too.
yeah.
And
I have a friend whose husband's in the Air Force as an officer, and I believe he's an officer. He might be a senior enlisted. He spent 18 years in, and he's actually been given a letter of reprimand from his commanding officer over his religious exemption for getting the vaccination. I haven't weighed in on it because I just don't want to be bothered with arguing with them over technicalities.
But when it's a court order like that, what its concept is, let's look this way. Okay, let's
I
say
know.
let's say someone. I'm not arguing against you there, Jay, but let's say someone says, "Oh, I'm gonna reprimand this guy and do something." Well, then you can get hauled into court and be asked, "Okay, so can you explain why I shouldn't hold you in contempt?"
Yeah, and the thing
then-
I think about,
And then they
this
could just
is-
throw you in jail and pull you out once a month, going, "Are you willing to obey the court order yet?" And if you say no, they just throw you back in jail again.
Well, the thing is I don't know what I don't know what the results of the letter of reprimand are, because
Yeah.
the way I'm reading it and the way that I've heard my friend explain it sounds like it's not actually due to COVID. They're nitpicking something that's not COVID related, just so they can do it and not get in trouble with the court order. And it's just like, well, if he's doing something wrong and they are allowed to nitpick, it is the military.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I mean, if it's not related to that, but you did something else wrong, and they can nitpick it, and it is technically wrong, even though it's not normally enforced. Well, that's not violating the court order because you're being nitpicked.
Exactly. And
Can't
again,
help
I
you
don't.
there.
Again, I don't know the full situation, so I don't want to like fully weigh in
Well,
on
yeah.
it. But at the same time, it's just like I'm sitting here. And my first response is like, you don't exactly have your freedoms per se. But you know, as soon as you say that to somebody who's even in the military, even if you were former military, they tend to look at you as like, well, that's not true. And it's like, well, it is. I mean, you can't go.
You've voluntarily curtailed quite a bit of your freedom when you've joined. That's just
Yeah. So, like a personal situation of mine was because I was active duty, because of the situation surrounding the birth of my eldest. I could not sue. I could not sue any portion of the military that the medical officers actually documented as being a contributing factor to what happened. My then wife could. I could not. So that's where like a lot of people are like, oh well, you can just fight it. You still got rights. No. I couldn't. So like a situation like my shoulder, they delayed treatment on my shoulder for a year. Like the injury that I suffered was outright a surgical requirement to repair. They
Was
waited
it-
a year.
Oh, so it was started out as surgically necessary.
Yes, multiple tears in my labrum and fraying of the rotator cuff. Yeah, it was stuff that because I was in a training command, the hospital did not do an MRI. They did the X-rays. They would not do an MRI until I had actually gotten to Jacksonville, and they finally started treating it right. However, if you were to take my circumstance and put it into the civilian sector, there was a malpractice lawsuit that was possible.
Mhm.
But because I was active duty at military treatment facilities, there's no such thing as malpractice there unless it is to a dependent.
Why?
Because as a service member, you are beholden to the government. You cannot sue the government while you are actively in their employ as an active duty service member.
Basically, you're a chattel slave without being a chattel slave.
Yes.
You are actually, you are paid, you are compensated. Obviously, you're given all this stuff, so you're not technically a slave. But your rights and ability to do certain things that a civilian employee of the federal government could do, you're not allowed to do. It's not fair, but that's part of signing the contract that we all signed.
It's part
You know
of the
what?
sacrifice.
You know what a funny. There's a funny little legal thing too with this too. Technically a commissioned officer can actually be named in a lawsuit.
Yep.
An enlisted person can't.
Yeah, because they
One
have
or
that.
no commission.
Well, and that's where you have. So, enlistment, we have the oath of enlistment. Officers, commissioned officers, it is worded differently for a reason, because there is more responsibility and actually more legal responsibility to being a commissioned officer than any level of enlisted men.
So it's the concept. Let's say all of us enlisted were in a group together, and the officer was over us, and something happened where somebody was decided to sue about whatever we did. They could name the officer and the U.S. government,
Not any of us.
but not any of.
Yeah. Well, and another thing that a number of people,
Because we're just the U.S. government. That's all.
yeah, that's the thing. We are a serial number of the U.S. government at that point. We are not an individual. We are not a individual, and this is where it gets really fun, is another thing that all service members are subject to, which outside of the military is actually illegal.
And why are they still subject to it?
Hang on. Double jeopardy.
Oh,
yeah.
double dipping on a charge when it's already been.
Well, it's not technically double jeopardy, but yeah.
It's technically it really flirts that line that they even say in the education, in the training, they say you are not immune to double jeopardy. So what that means is you cannot be punished for the same crime twice. Out in the civilian sector, that is true. If you are charged with a crime, tried and punished, or tried and acquitted, that's it. They're done. If a judgment has been made on those charges, unless
But it's not. Yeah, it's not actually double.
New evidence.
It's not actually double jeopardy in our case, though, because technically what the problem is like when we do something, you have potentially of doing 2 violations at once.
Yep.
One under the civil law and one under military law.
Yep.
Now, but that's still double jeopardy, though, because it's the same charge.
It's co-equal jurisdiction.
Yeah.
And that's how they get around it.
So here's the oath of enlistment.
Because it's separate. It's technically separate charges is the problem.
Yeah.
I blank do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to the regulations of the UCMJ. So help me. Yeah. Then we have the Commissioned Officer's Oath. I have been appointed a rank in the United States blank, and do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear the true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the office upon which I am about to enter. And that's where the Officers Commission Oath, or Commissioned Officer's Oath, is very similar to the oath that politicians actually take too, especially with regards to the faithfully.
Well, that and the appointed. You are appointed to the position. You're not enlisting for a term of service.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we have like military laws that wouldn't fly in the civilian world, like Article 134.
Wait, was it?
You know, we didn't actually write anything about this, but
the general catch-all. Yeah, I was trying to remember if 134 was a general catch-all, and then you got the general punitive ones, which are like 134. What one was the conduct unbecoming? Was that 92?
Good question.
But yeah, you got like 3 to 5 articles that they can charge you with that are basically, we think you're an asshole and you fucked up. We can't say exactly what you fucked up in, but
they
you
can say exactly what you fucked up in. It's just they didn't actually write anything specifically about it. Otherwise, we could just lump it under this, basically.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is you have those punitive ones where it's not anything specific. It's just, we want to punish you for something, and it doesn't have to be a specific thing. So like adultery is a specific one, sodomy is a specific one, theft and larceny is specific. You have all these individual ones that are directly named, but then you have the catch-alls like conduct unbecoming, behavior disorderly, and
And to read it for anybody out there in the audience who doesn't know what I'm talking about, the text reads, though not specifically mentioned in this chapter, all disorders and neglects to the prejudice of good order and discipline in the armed forces, all conduct of a nature to bring discredit upon the armed forces, and crimes and offenses not capital of which person subject to the chapter may be guilty, shall be taken cognizance of a general, special, or summary courts martial.
Yeah, fuck that.
In other words, we didn't write anything specifically against that, but if it could seem like bad, then we'll count it as bad.
Yeah.
And in your court martial, we'll appoint some JO fresh out of, freshly
school.
commissioned guy out of law school to represent you.
Yeah.
No.
What's interesting is, legally speaking, you don't want a conflict of interest between the defense and prosecution actual lawyers, between the actual advocates, and yet they're often from the same exact office, and before and after are hanging out, doing whatever together.
Oh yeah, they're assigned by the JAG Court.
Not unlike in the movie A Few Good Men.
But that's a perfect example there too, because of course, it's going to get prosecuted by somebody who's like 03, 04, and defended by someone who's like 01, 02. That is real. That's what happens.
Another $5 Australian from Davros. My 7-year-old just had a PCR. I am at my sister-in-law's for 2 weeks. Teenager tested positive on Thursday. My partner has to stay home. Oh, that sucks.
No. That.
Well, and at the same time, I don't know, Leon, should I read off the rant that I posted? What is that? 10, 12, 20 hours ago?
Why not?
So for those who don't know, I just got home from the trip 20 hours ago. Yeah, middle of the night. And the first thing I do when I'm sitting in the car waiting for it to warm up, because it was 70 when I left the Southeast, and it was 40, almost upper 30s when I got home. There it is. I'm getting sick of hearing you have to wear your mask at all times in the airport and on the plane. If they actually fucking cared, or if it made a difference for the majority of people flying, then this wouldn't be the 10th flight in a row I've been on that didn't have an empty seat. Not one, completely fucking packed in like the good old days before the TSA.
There was a time before the TSA?
Oh yeah.
Yes, there was.
And it
I'll
was
be right back, guys.
wonderfully fun and easy to fly.
You know what? I could actually go and meet somebody at the gate and walk them to the baggage claim and make sure everything was okay.
I wish the TSA just never existed to begin with in this case.
Well, okay, I understand the purpose for the TSA, and having maintained their equipment, there is the potential for them to actually do better than they've actually tested at, but their execution of their mission has been
very subpar.
Oh, and Jared,
less than desirable.
Jared, the one you were thinking of was Article 133, Conduct Unbecoming.
Okay, yeah, that was another one. But
Jared, your Discord DMs when you can.
Yep. I
know 92 is failure to obey order or regulation. So.
Yeah, which that's a generalish one, because hey, you were told not to do this activity. There you go.
And that's the one you always got to risk, because it does apply only to lawful orders. So.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. If you get a sunburn, you can get the 92 and the 134 at the same time.
And you can also get the one for destruction of government property.
Yeah.
Which is also bullshit, because humans are not supposed to be classified as property, regardless of the situation.
Again, you enlisted. You didn't.
You enlisted your property.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm still a human. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. And if you tell me that I'm a piece of property with a fucking rank on your chest, I'm gonna have that rank by the end of the year.
You enlisted your property to get to that DD 214. So.
Okay,
Even
I'll
then,
just
if you have
ranger
an
up on your
IR.
ass
Hang on.
and tell you to take off your top.
Hang on.
We'll go.
Cal, we're not disagreeing with you. We're just telling you all the counter arguments that you will get from Big Army for that attitude.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
know.
disagreeing
And
with you. I'm just telling you what's going to happen.
And if I go ranger, I can counter with a tab up. And I can take off my top and tell them, let's go right here, right now. The moment I make ranger.
See the problem here is that whenever these kind of charges come up, you're going to be in a court martial and you're going to be standing before somebody who's like an 06, 07 military person. So are they going to buy your arguments? That's the question you need to ask yourself right now.
I'm ready to share the screen when you are, Jared.
All right, give me 1 second, and there it is. Go for it.
I'm back.
Just in time.
Oh, I love that that's the name that you picked.
Lauren C.
Loran.
Lauren.
Yep, it's a navigation communication type.
Oh, God.
They're actually apparently talking about bringing the system back up worldwide, at least in the northern hemisphere.
It was effective. It wasn't perfect, but it was effective. All right, so you got Jay, got me, got... Are you back to Snake Check, Nikki?
Yeah, because I couldn't think of any other fucking name right now.
Okay.
Yuck 43.
No. Fuck Yuck 43.
Okay, Burns, is that you as the meat popsicle, or is that you, Tech?
Meat popsicle? What is a meat
That's
popsicle?
that's Leon.
Oh no, that's okay. Yeah, that's not.
Oh
me.
yeah, it might be Leon. You know what? Yeah.
Mine's an anagram of Techatron.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, so yep, there's that. Okay. Well, and seeing as how I know our resident edger is not going to want to be on the panel itself to play.
Davros, you want to?
But yeah, we have that question. I'm Davros. Would you care to join us in the game of Quiplash? It's a slightly new format, different prompts that I've been able to have fun with.
I think we all have.
Yeah, but Jared's been winning a
You
little
have a
too
chance
much.
of like acing the third round if there's an odd number of people because you go up against Schmitty and he comes up with really horrible answers. So.
Fair point. You know what? I might just sandbag it until the third round.
Oh, jeez.
No, I won't do that because I know you strategic motherfuckers and how you will vote to
Yeah,
prevent
people will strategically
a quiplash.
vote for the bad answers just to make sure they're distributing those points around.
I did that last week, so.
Giggity giggity. Giggity
All
good.
right, so we got that.
That was in response to Davros.
Oh, I know. I'm just to make it more interesting. I'm gonna actually get it so he can join us on the panel as well. There he is. Gotta love the list of DMs. So check your Discord DM. There we go. And once we get the knock on the door, we can... Actually, no. Let's wait for him to get onto the panel and then...
Mm-hmm.
And make sure he's in the game. That way he doesn't... We don't want to start prematurely.
That's what she said.
Finishing too early can be a bad thing. And that's why we need Davros here, because he can tell us all about finishing early.
Pull down my trousers and do your job.
Yeah.
Hang on. How do I finish early when you guys only just started?
We started an hour and a half ago. Not to mention the 2 hours we were on air before.
I saw the Star Trek kerfuffling, but we won't go into that. The fact that Discovery is now like a dumpster fire
Just now? It's been a dumpster
Well, no,
fire from the beginning.
Well, look, okay. Apart from the occasional fuck by Tilly, the first season wasn't too bad. But the rest of it just like, what are you doing? You're rewriting everything. Spock doesn't grow beards.
Spock doesn't have an adopted human sister. That was an episode.
Yeah,
No, it does.
No, he doesn't.
No, he never had a sibling, except for Cybok.
Who was a half
Ah,
sibling.
there you go. Yes, only because Spock had a.
To be fair, we didn't find out about his Cybok that he was like
Until Star Trek 5.
hijacking a.
But why does God need a starship?
So Spock's not necessarily the most reliable choice in how many siblings he has.
It's a need to know basis.
Yeah, but you would think of the events of Star Trek
Spock,
5
you don't have a brother. Well, you're right. Technically, he's a half brother.
And that would have been the perfect time for him to go, oh, and an adopted sister.
I understand you're playing Quiplash, but as you may know, I am on a mobile phone at the moment, so it's going to be a little awkward.
Poor excuses.
That just means you're going to get a chance to go get Smitty more often.
This is true. This is true.
Don't tell me poor excuse after the $5 super chat I just gave you. I do not have access to my computer.
Well, no, because here's the thing. The Google Meets application can run in the background and still do the audio for you while you have a browser open running the game, because the game is actually intended to be used on a phone while everyone else is watching the screen.
So I want to go to Jackbox.
Jack off.
Yeah, you want a Jack in the Box.
What's that? I want to jack off a saw. And that room code looks like... Oh, it's the sound a cat makes when it gets fucked. Anyway.
And you would know this firsthand, how?
Red Dwarf.
She is one well-endowed lady. I'd like to get my hands on her ample nacelles, if you'll pardon the engineering parlance.
No, they're not nacelles you want to hold.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's Clefairy!
Some of those have actually been misleading. It did look like the outline of Pikachu. No, it's not. Fuck!
Or you find out it's a Poliwag from looking down on top of it, and people think it's a Voltorb.
All right. Now that we got that, audience can see it. Let's have some fun.
Why is it not letting me click on it? Oh, because I'm in the wrong window.
Minor detail there.
Oops. Details.
Oh, did you want to pump through the audio?
I'm in.
Sit back and enjoy.
Is that loud enough for everybody?
Yeah, that's fine.
Audience, how is it?
Mention my name and get absolutely no discount off this game. And if you're not in the game, the next best thing is the audience. Enter the room code to get in there and vote.
You can edge us.
I keep asking my wife to come and play. She doesn't want to.
You'll get 2 prompts.
She can come edge us.
Any way you please. You'll go head to head with another player's response, and everyone else votes on their favorite. Sound easy? That's because it is. You're going to get points based on the percentage of votes.
Okay.
It's easier for some than it is for others.
True.
That's what she said.
All right. No taking prisoners on that answer.
These two just kind of wrote themselves. That's kind of scary. I had this feeling.
I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt. And guess what's inside it?
What's inside the jar of dirt?
You don't remember?
No.
I've got your hand.
I think I got that name spelled right.
Let's have a look.
I think I got one of my names spelled right too. I was in a hurry when I said time is running
Well,
out.
you two got the
What's
same
your
problem.
mom worrying about today? Pick a winner.
I'm going with the misspelled one just because it's more informative.
Well, no super quiplash.
Next we have what a misfit vampire craves more than blood.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Easy choice.
You know what that's got to be, don't you?
Oh,
Especially considering what movie just came out.
Yeah, it was kind of, I will say it was difficult because of the glitter, but at the same time.
What happened?
Yeah.
Let's keep it going. The name of a clown you would not hire for your 6-year-old birthday party.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Tasty.
Oh my god!
Hey, choose your favorite.
Obvious
Oh,
answer
I
is
know what
obvious.
everyone's gonna pick for that one.
Yep.
One of these is a clown, and the other one is a space alien
Pennywise.
bent on eating humans.
Fuck you, Leon.
Why?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, Leon can't help it. He's British.
Noise machine.
Oh, I'm not.
You are in my book.
That one made me laugh.
Oh. Oh.
Aren't
Do
they
you
the
like that
same
one?
sound?
I'm torn.
Okay.
So are the goats.
Ooh, are you good? Yep. It's got.
Am I harsh?
Okay. I must have had a network interruption.
Yeah, it happened to me earlier. Blame Google.
Architectural landmark you find weirdly attractive.
Oh no.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa. Hey!
It's
Neither one of them is spelled right.
How do you spell Sydney?
You switch the Y and the E around at the end.
Okay.
And the end.
Again, fair point. I was the time was.
Want a
running
list
out.
of what you got wrong?
At least it's not huzzah.
Oh no.
It's Heze.
Oh.
Pick your favorite.
Oh.
Yeah. I would say a
You know what? I'm
colostomy
going
bag,
that
but
one.
Big
I'm not
bits.
going with that one.
I'll take he's a bitch for 800, Alex.
Oh.
Oh!
Well done, chat.
Oh no.
Okay, choose your favorite.
A stone from a set of 4 and a bullet.
Wait.
Oh no!
Oh yes.
Oh.
Could have said the face of Bo.
This is why I troll AT2 Productions.
Why,
Oh,
because of the
no.
movie references?
And now it's time to vote for your favorite.
Oh, enjoy this one.
I'll go with that one.
Oh, come on. Couldn't click.
Okay, well played. Well played, Davros.
Okay, let's not dwell on round one anymore. Let's see your scores.
Okay.
There's some differences here.
Round two is upon us. Put on your best quip face because points are doubled and the tension is thick.
Not all of it's thick.
It's got a lot of girth to it.
Oh no.
Ooh, this is fun.
I'm just answering this one honestly.
That'll be fun. 20 seconds remain.
I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt. And guess what's inside it?
Oh, Jay.
It's me.
Hang on,
I'm
Jay.
the jar of dirt.
You're gonna regret playing that.
Oh no.
Choose the art of war. Punch in your vote.
I actually want to see Jay next time to actually hold up a jar of dirt when he plays that.
I actually have a jar of dirt.
You know what? I might have to go to the beach and just go get some sand. It would be even funnier.
I've got a jar of sand somewhere from the beach.
Hey!
All right.
And next is, you know your clone.
Oh,
is
quiet, Carl.
Oh, no.
All right, vote for the one you like best.
All right, Davros, you can have that. Oh, there's Tech who put that one there. All right.
Oh, and Quiplash.
Oh, Quiplash. In round two at that.
Did we get it?
Okay, what's next? A reality show nobody would miss.
Is that because we're salty?
A little bit.
Okay, everybody, pick your favorite quip.
Ooh.
One of these is very salty.
The other's a penis.
Aren't they both salty?
I wouldn't know.
I don't want to find out.
Oh, it was a split penis.
Oh, no, say Hemi penis.
End up in the hospital. Here's the
Oh, they're both good.
I want to. Who wrote that one?
Who wrote which one?
Find out here.
Whoever wrote either of them, kudos to both of you, but I had to have to vote for one. So.
Yeah.
Oh, there we
fuck
go.
you, audience.
Okay, now I'm understanding the next prompt that I was given.
Yeah, the spice must flow.
All right, people, it's voting time.
Yeah, I speak to too many flirts.
Oh.
Oh, I like that answer. That one is nice. And hey, Claire, glad to see you. Oh,
Hey, Claire.
You can join the voting audience. Just have to open another browser, jackbox.tv, and put that room code.
Oh no.
All right,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Huh?
Yeah, gotta be that one. Can I get a ooh-woo?
It will. It will.
I gotta go with that one, Tech.
Yeah.
Well done.
That was the one I said, I'm just going to answer this one honestly.
The new This Player doll is
Oh, yeah.
They need more questions like this, actually.
Pity you can't pick both answers for that one.
One of them just goes that much further.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
By quite a bit.
Giggity giggity.
Yeah.
Giggity giggity.
Yeah, not being very shallow, are we?
So, Jared, you want to tell them about the two of us?
Oh no.
Both are good. Both are good. But that one hits just a little bit more.
I gotta pick one, damn it.
The image of that one. Oh my god.
Oh, come on now.
The image.
I liked both of them, but I had to pick one. I'm sorry.
So.
All right, Tech.
Oh, I got a
Round
long,
3,
long
you
climb.
and me.
Don't forget that. Oh, wait. We're not going to have that today.
No,
are we?
no, we're full, so there's no easy win for the first pairing.
3 separate responses. That's triple the ha-has.
Oh.
My answer is true for most people inside my family. There's the giveaway prompt.
I think I have an idea of.
Okay, I have a
Prompts yours.
theme. Go for it.
I do too.
I have a theme for my answers. Let's see if it works.
Oh no.
3 words.
Oh no.
Same thing.
Damn it!
Who invited Reds to play?
Both of these are
Shit.
good.
I'm going for this one. It was a hard choice for the other guy.
Thank
So
you.
whose was bigger?
See, mine was actually true though.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh.
Favorite quip.
Damn it!
Oh.
It's gonna be a challenging round, isn't it? Vote.
Yes, it's gonna hurt.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Is that now?
You're looking at now. What happened to then? You just missed it. When? Now.
Now.
I thought I had it with the $5 footlongs.
I liked yours.
It was
I
tough.
like the other one too, but I like.
Oh
I didn't like yours.
no!
Oh.
Told.
Wow.
Why do I hang out with you people?
Who does nothing?
Who does number 2 work
for?
There's no space on the
Nikki,
soundboard.
I can explain. It's because we make you laugh, but we also make you hurt inside.
Oh, well played, demon.
Yeah.
News, they now take away your cool card if you like blank, blank.
Oh shit!
Oh no!
All right.
Oh,
too hard.
I like the theme there, Jared.
You do? Okay.
Freddy's rolling in his grave.
Now, I wonder how many other people understood the theme that I had.
I did. The fact that, the fact we had to make a decision was the problem.
Well played, Davros.
Holy crap!
That is my worst played game in fucking a while.
What did I do? What did I do?
You can get a lot worse.
Same players.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and you know, we keep getting this thing to share our favorite quips. I don't think they would like it if we shared quips from our games.
Oh, no.
They might ban me. They might ban us all.
That was the warm-up game.
Maybe we could win an award. You never know.
Achievement unlocked.
Sometimes they just write themselves.
Yep.
Burnett.
Oh, I've not heard that one in a long time. I actually have that. We should get together and play that someday.
Character limits are a bitch.
Oh yeah.
Are you talking to retard?
Yes, Alan's daughter, we are.
Oh no.
Oh,
I can't believe that was from like 3 years ago.
Damn it!
Oh
no!
Both thinking the same thing. I like that, but
And just different enough not to trip the
Both
Jake
sides
thing.
of the issue.
Oh.
And only,
Oh!
only 4 of
Oh,
us
we're going for
voted.
the cleaner one. Okay.
I was having trouble deciding, and I didn't click a time. So.
I couldn't click.
Oh no. Oh!
We did the same thing.
This is how many people that I'm not getting out again.
Come on, did you guys think you had fun in the fucking military?
There it is.
Whiplash.
That wasn't really that surprising.
I had the best.
The other one was good, but it just wasn't that good.
So scary until the killer turned out to be blank.
Oh no.
Actually, Michael Burnham would make it scarier.
Oh no! There's a story behind that one.
Oh yes,
There's
gotta
be a
be
story
the butt.
behind that one.
yeah, yeah, we're gonna need that story.
Mistletoe butt plug. That sounds like an interesting movie.
Where did that
it's
come
a-
from, Leon?
It's a Scandinavian tradition.
It's called Kiss Man.
Leon, explain
It came
yourself.
from rewriting it to actually get shit within the character.
Oh no.
I'll go with that one.
I'm half Scots Irish, so I think I'm gonna actually vote.
They're not the worst, just the worst of sports.
No, but I know what a Peggy is.
Damn it!
Peg leg.
Oh, that's not the only kind of pegging there is.
Yeah.
One of these actually exists. The others isn't real.
Yeah, I gotta go with the one that actually exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got kids.
It could also be worse. You could also
allowed. Sorry, kids that are allowed to be in my care.
Oh.
Denied.
Close.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, one of those just meant so much.
It just went over. It just went over.
Right there.
Leon.
Nice.
I hate you all.
I was about ready to vote for the
Your mama
orange, just
joke
his
in there,
came
too.
up better. It's,
The worst thing about being really, really sexy.
Oh no.
Now it gets real. Pick your favorite.
I'm gonna pick the one that's true.
Right?
Well, is it something where you think you're sexy yourself, or everyone else actually thinks you're sexy?
I'm just gonna point to Henry Cavill.
Next, the biggest pet peeve.
Dude's a bigger nerd than us, and look at him.
He's the exception, not the rule.
Same thing. What's the difference?
One from the perspective of the zombie.
Again, the same thing.
Fuck you, Leon.
It's been a few months.
Come on, that one just totally wrote itself. How could you not?
Because why?
Exactly.
No, it's still in second place. I'll take it.
Middle of the road. Still
That's
have
the most
plenty of
important
time.
Round 2. Prompts are more out there, and the points are doubled.
We ain't found shit.
Damn it.
This will be fun.
I'm just so glad that they don't actually monitor the games.
Anybody who would make a game like this knows better than to monitor it.
Plausible deniability.
Exactly. We made the game, gave you the rules. It's up to you how you play it.
I actually think Cards Against Humanity actually watch these.
Oh, that can get really bad too.
Yeah, but I will say this: this is just a little bit worse because all of them are freeform.
Exactly.
My second prompt had
First,
possible
but
grammar
not
issues.
necessarily best, is what's behind the locked door the real estate agent refuses to show you.
Well, this one had potential.
Damn it, Davros! Why are you trying to give out my secret?
That's plural.
One of these is like really scary. The other one's Jared's sex dungeons.
You're not wrong there, Tech.
Oh!
One involves a whole lot less book.
Okay, what's next?
Secret's out, Jared.
Oh no. Oh,
this is a tough one.
I'm gonna go with the end of the story.
We definitely need to be watching Guardians of that Netflix series.
The boys?
Guardians of something League. It's stupid funny
Famous assassin
and
who
bloody.
shows no mercy. They call her Blank.
Oh.
Your favorite quip.
I mean, they're supposed to be famous.
They didn't say how they assassinate.
Nikki's the favorite.
But no
Of course I am.
Without further ado, a magazine you don't want to see in the waiting room.
Oh.
Nambla United.
All right, people, it's voting time.
Both of these are great.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, that one just hits a little differently. Although I'm disappointed at the lack of a Nambla reference from you, Leon.
How many different letters do you think you can fit in this shit?
Next one up. The first astronaut to walk on Mars
True.
will make this famous quote. All right, vote for the one you like best.
Oh, Claire.
Thanos has gone too far this time. He destroyed half the blank in the universe.
Oh no.
Is that supposed to be tribbles?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yes. But even if he deleted half the triples, it would still be a fucking problem.
It'd still be trouble.
He'd have to keep snapping his fingers because of how fast they replicate.
He would only have to snap once to get rid of all of them.
And the sad part is, that was my throwaway answer.
New toilet gadget nobody
Yeah,
is
here's
used
my
to using
throwaway.
can actually blank.
Oh no.
Pick your favorite gift.
Aren't they the same answer?
One of those is just a bidet.
Yep, you're welcome. I couldn't think shit on that. Oh!
I'm fucking great on
Okay.
bodies.
Moving right along.
Oh, that's weird.
It usually stops boomerangs from returning.
Oh no.
Flat Earth.
Oh.
I like both of those, but we all know that every can of Foster's is exported off of the island.
They have to be stockpiled somewhere on the island.
If you must know, the brewing plant for Foster's is in Bristol, UK.
See?
It's still on the island.
So what's
Just
the
not
game?
on
Wrong
the
island.
All right, let's see how that one.
Ooh.
Yay, I improved.
Okay, Leon.
Rose lead.
Time to see how this one goes.
Mm-hmm.
Watch, Leon and I go 50-50 and one of you other fuckers gets the win.
Oh God.
Oh no. Ooh.
Time's running out. Okay, let's do this.
That wasn't a fun one to do, was it, Tech?
I didn't like it, but I went ahead and just threw something in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one I'm like, this is bad, but whatever.
Mine has a theme. Everybody has to guess it, however.
Now,
Yeah,
which
I'm going with
cows?
that one.
See, there's solutions to the first one.
Yeah, well.
Supposed to be chief though.
Well, you don't have to worry about government property or taxes if you're dead.
Well, you can't
Oh.
be. You just established government property.
You don't have to worry about taxes anymore. Just your next of kin does.
Just like China.
You know what? One of these gets it because of the mankini.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure that'd be a top search unless it's for morbid curiosity.
I search things for morbid curiosity all the time.
Cal.
Wow, there we go.
Blue waffle is a thing.
Again, morbid curiosity.
3 things you shouldn't do when you're
Oh no.
I feel attacked by the first one.
Oh.
For some reason, I feel personally attacked by the first one.
It could have been your wife.
If that's the
made
case,
it
Jared, I have questions.
Hey, leave the toaster out of this.
No, I don't think we will.
Fuck you, Jared.
That was the one I just threw a theme things in. So.
Jobs in hell.
Oh no.
And now it's time to vote for your favorite.
Leon, it's like we kind of have a similar mind here.
Sorry, but the Jesus thing is like, could you imagine if Jesus went to hell, what would happen to Christians?
Well, he would, based on Buddhism.
Did you ever see that Rowan Atkinson thing where he was the devil?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to hell. It seems you're here for eternity.
Are there any Christians here? I'm afraid the Jews are right.
Americans, are there any Americans here? Yeah.
Wow.
German.
Oh, wow.
The French. The French, go ahead and line up next to the Germans over there.
I will take that.
Wow.
It's a fucking quip.
That's just it. I don't think I had one, did I?
Round 3.
I think you did.
No. Round 3, he missed it by 1 because of me.
Yeah.
But it was just enough to put him those couple 100 points ahead of me. And whoever it was in second, they were the ones that got the Quiplash in round 3.
That was me.
Yeah.
Quiplash 3. The Edge of Insanity.
Yeah, I must say that
I'm Schmitty, and please make sure you take all your jokes out with you at the end of the game. Here's round 1. Oh yes, points. You score points based on the percentage of voters who like your answers. Clear enough? Sure hope so. Let's go.
It's a trap!
Oh yes, it is.
"15 seconds.
There's seconds left. Use a safety quip if you have to.
10.
All right,
You know what?
let's
I will never use a safety quip.
get the party.
I'd never resort to that.
What's something you should never do while wearing sandals?
Oh no.
All right, folks.
Same thing?
I would say kick a break, but sure.
When people get it, they get it.
It's not all Bible study.
Oh no.
Local church group is known.
Oh no! Was on your parties?
No!
Yep, there we go. I'm not the only one that's given an answer along those lines this round. Okay.
Hang on, aren't they both
The
the
one on the
same
left is on
answer?
Tuesday.
No, I thought it was on Thursday to compensate for what happens on Wednesday.
No. They do that on Tuesday so they can then sort them for the father on Wednesday.
Oh.
Yeah. think we've got a theme going here.
Well, here's the thing. Everything with Catholic jokes is fresh. Just like the boyfriends.
Sorry, Jared.
By one.
Damn you, Sean Carroll.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay, Cal.
Unfortunately, that's not possible.
Yeah.
One's
What,
possible.
full restoration of your rights?
I'm sorry, Cal.
Here for you.
I'm sorry, Cal. We just
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, we've all watched Clerks.
Is Cal Snowball?
That's why
My
it would
God,
only
that's
be
such
45
36 steps. Wait, is that
Oh
include
no.
Oh.
37?
Oh.
I like how these work together.
Oh.
Gotta go with sniffing. Gotta.
Figures, Jared, that we would come up with similar ideas.
No,
There
Mr.
you go, that
President.
made
You
up
have to
for-
roll. You have to roll the dollar bill first before you snort.
It's like a sniff from a rose.
In the dictionary, and there will be a picture of this
Fuck you, whoever wrote bitch. Fuck you. Jay.
Wasn't me.
It was me.
Oh, Eric. Fuck you. That was a nice one.
It's dating reality series.
Oh no.
Now it gets real. Pick your favorite.
Oh,
nice.
Oh.
I thought you would have went with a YouTube lawsuit.
Oh.
Oh. I take a gripper as a bitch for 800, Alex.
There's a lot of quiplashes this round.
Well, I have two.
Yep.
Oh, it's going to be a bumper.
Oh no.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Free point. You're welcome.
One is actually quite likely in comparison.
Hang on. Aren't they both sea cucumbers?
Yeah.
Whoa! Whoa!
Oh.
There
Oh.
is a fish called the needlefish that makes its home inside the intestines of sea cucumbers.
But can you survive the scoreboard?
Yeah, the first one just means you just shrimp boat captaining and isn't for you.
Look at me with a big fat zero.
Round two? I hope so, because it's ready for.
There's still time to make up.
And even then, that shrimp boat one,
doubled.
why didn't you answer found Lieutenant Dan's legs?
Exactly.
Oh.
That second one wrote itself, Jared. I'm sorry.
Oh god.
Yeah. Throw away. We'll see.
just a few seconds left.
10, 9.
Oh,
Darn it.
Terry had a good one for the shrimp boat captain. Found a mermaid with the fish part on top.
Most people don't understand about elephant sex.
Oh, no. There's a song about that.
Your vote count.
I like that one. Even though there's this misspelling, I like that one.
It's just gonna be Mr. Trunks.
And also, that was a character limit too, so I was really close.
Every single page of the internet.
Oh no.
Okay, everybody.
This is tough.
Oh.
This is tough, but I'm going with that one. And I have a feeling that Davros was the one who put that answer. Yep.
Hey, 50-50. Oh,
nope.
Losers.
Without further ado, the real reason sharks won't go on land.
Oh.
That needed to be. That actually needed to be too many blue-haired land whales, didn't it?
Character limit.
Yeah. Oh, I hit the character limit.
That would fit in 50.
Right, but there's 45.
Well played, Jared. Well played.
Next up, an underwhelming political slogan from a centrist candidate.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And now, pick your favorite.
We will help you maybe tomorrow.
I feel
That sounds
attacked.
worse.
I feel attacked.
It should have been, I'm not either one of those ass clowns.
Oh, nice. Yes, brought to you by Procrastination University.
Oh, god damn
it. Oh.
No. If you were on a date with Jadzia, you definitely would walk away with at least that.
That's at least a broken leg.
Yes, but
The first would be a bragging.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. How could you guys see me going on a date with Jadzia?
True.
She went on a date with someone with a transparent skull.
For a programmer job.
Oh no. Nice.
That one.
Due to character limit, I will assume the first one didn't have the proper
syntax.
Correct.
And syntax, yeah.
Well, there goes my vote.
Now your tattoo says "Hello World." Now you change it "Hello." Oh no.
Late night screenings of The Wizard of Oz.
Character limits are a bitch.
They are.
All right, vote for the one.
It depends. Does the witch look like Crew?
Damn.
Does he look like a bitch? Yes, he does.
The witch is Karen B.
Oh.
Next up, the discontinued Nobel Prize. The Nobel Prize in blank.
Adult videos.
Snuff films.
Close enough.
Can you pick both? Because they're both relevant.
Ooh.
We have to assume that there was human decency to begin with.
Well, I mean,
The same thing with flat Earth math.
Let's see how it's shaping
At least with flat Earth math, we've seen the results of it.
Flat Earths don't like math.
Point exactly.
They do like math.
Woo! I went from first to last.
Why are they? Oh yeah, plenty of math, just not math.
Yeah, they need that flat Earth for their mess.
Meth what?
Mathematics.
Oh no.
Oh, damn it.
Sorry, not sorry, considering two of the people I did this one on aren't here.
Character limit's a bitch, but you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Tick tock, time's almost up.
10, 9, 8.
Gotta do a bit of a callback.
Inside.
Sometimes the callbacks work.
3 things a good.
Oh, here we go.
In their kids.
Oh no.
Fucking knew it.
Here's the fun part.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Oh, this is a tough call. But it does say good parent, so that one.
Thank you.
Oh,
But
no quiplash.
I needed that super quiplash. I needed that.
So close though. Oh.
Damn.
Both are good. But that,
Shit.
Now, what's
Right?
going on over there?
That one. Okay. I decided.
Why is what moving?
I'm not going to regret my decision. I picked it.
Oh!
Oh!
So close.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
One of these is
Sorry, the use of lube must win.
I'm sorry, the unnecessarily thing takes one of them further.
Exactly. Yeah, you can imagine just walking up to a bartender and asking him to make you one of these.
that was my mindset.
See, it's okay.
Come on.
Some
It's
people
supposed
got
to be
me.
I knew which one was yours.
Bastard.
Meat popsicle.
First page results.
Oh no. Oh.
You misspelled that high guy.
Oh no, just that guy.
That guy.
No, that high guy.
No. Fuck
no.
that. No. That guy.
That guy.
Don't be that guy.
You misspelled Steve.
Oh no, quiplash again.
Audience stole it from you.
Cannot live with this tension. Show me the final scores.
Damn, second again.
And I stay in third place.
The third round in this one shifts points a lot more than the third round. In the
Oh
other
yeah.
one.
Oh yeah. Are we done? Or same players?
Let's see. I think we are good for that for tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of want to have a normal-ish day tomorrow. I did say ish, which just means getting up at a regular kind of time.
Jared, you're over the age of 30, yes?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as getting up at a regular time. Your bladder controls that system.
No, when it comes to that part, I am in surprisingly good health.
I plan on getting up tomorrow eventually.
No, for me, it's two fuzzy pussies that wake me up.
Yeah, but for you guys, it's Sunday. For some of us, we go to work tomorrow.
Well, yeah.
Some of us work on.
I go to work. Do end up working on the weekends. Yeah,
Like me.
Your commute is what? 20 feet down the hall?
Oh, my bedroom's next to my office, so you know.
So
But
20 feet total.
I've seen my £600 line back and
well, I mean, it could be. I mean, so there's a lot of times I do run down to the kitchen to get something, before I hit it.
Did
Here's a good
you
one
buy
from
a
Thierry
Fitbit?
from like 3 minutes ago? And today on Kitchen Nightmares, baking bread with a yeast infection.
Okay.
That's the morning after.
So this is going to be a little bit of story time to end the stream, to give you guys a reason why that came to mind as an answer. I came across a post where someone was talking about how the reactions from someone who came into their walk-in clinic. Woman comes in with a raging vaginal infection, is prescribed strong antibiotics. We're talking discolored pus, everything. It is given the prescription, is given the pills themselves, a strong antibiotic, and told, you need to take this. Couple weeks later, woman comes back, and it is even worse. The woman is asked, well, did you take the antibiotic prescription you were given? And the answer was, well, no, I wanted to, but my boyfriend told me not to because he liked the taste.
Gay.
I forgot about
Gay.
that story.
And we are now all veterans of Jared's sex story. Okay.
Oh no, the only connection to that story I have is finding it on the wonderfully deplorable app that is called iFunny.
Oh, I thought you were on 4chan or something.
It could be even worse. My diary.
I think it started on Reddit. I would have to find the post again to be sure.
It's more likely that it started on one of the Chan sites.
Yeah,
He found it on a deep, dark, dank meme channel or something.
Oh.
Why do you guys keep insisting on trying to ruin my secrets? I don't want people to find this material before I do.
Damn what was that? What's that website? I don't know if it's still called rotten.com.
I can neither confirm nor deny that I am very familiar with said website, along with Faces of Death.
Oh.
Or Will It Fit?
Heard of those two.
See, we're from the good era of the internet when shit like that was like, wait, you found what?
Exactly.
Rotten.com. That brings back so many fun memories.
You know, another one that the site kind of died off, at least for new posts. That is kind of sad that it did.
MySpace?
No, Newgrounds.
Newgrounds as well.
Rip Newgrounds.
That's actually where I was introduced to Foamy the Squirrel. And ever since then, And ever since then, I have been a card-carrying member of Foamy's card-carrying member cult.
Yeah, mine's still in the mail.
Doesn't go right till Tuesday.
Oh no, it was supposed to arrive like 4 Tuesdays ago. It's just, I think Foamy's forgotten to put postage on it. Either that or Pillsy ate it.
Oh, Pillsy definitely ate it. But with that, thank you all for showing up. Thank you, audience, for being here too. And yeah, we're just gonna go. I know someone's gonna find an issue somewhere with something, and you know what? They can eat a dick. Just not my dick. I like where it is. Leave it alone. Good night, everybody.
The stream.
Bye-bye.
United States Marines.